Hey guys, Triple B here. Got a question for you. Do you like fish decks?
Love them!
Well, we've got a new Seaking coming out of Pokemon 151, and it seems like a great fish deck to be able to play, having the Swim Freely attack, which we haven't seen for quite a while. We did have a Dugong, a Seadra, and a Luminion that all had the attack, and the attack's going to pair amazingly with Luminion's previous evolution, Finneon, which has an ability allowing you to accelerate as many water energy cards from your hand to Pokemon with the Swim Freely attack during your turn as you'd like. So sort of like Baxcalibur, but limited to specific Pokemon, and it's on a basic Pokemon though, so you don't need to worry about having rare candies, getting into a stage 2, anything like that. Just get this little basic on the bench. It does only have 50 HP, so it's an easy target for Sableye though. Be mindful of that. Swim Freely decks in the past have always felt like they've fallen a little bit short though. Like accelerating energy to the Seadra was cool because it could evolve up into the Kingdra, which when something got knocked out, you move all the water energy to that, and that's great, but it's getting into a stage 2 felt a little bit clunky. The Dugong was also really good, but after it attacked, you had to shuffle the energy back into your deck and then find it again. It could be a little bit tricky because you're using draw supporters, you're hoping to hit it, but then late game when you're trying to dig for like a boss's orders, you're just finding energy and the thing in the active isn't what you want to knock out, and it gets a little bit complicated. Seaking is going to buck that trend though, since its attack scales up by a nice amount of damage, and it's not going to shuffle it back in or discard it or anything. After it takes a knockout, the energy is just going to sit on it, so you're able to thin out your deck. Now to get into its attack though, Aqua Horn, it's going to start as a base damage of 60 and scale up by 30 damage for each energy attached to it. So because of that base damage of 60, it's basically like it starts out with 2 energy on it. So when you're trying to do the math into cards, you're going to go into it as a multiplier of 3 minus 2, if that makes sense. So for example, Charizard having 330 HP, look at it as 33 damage counters. Divide that by 3, you get 11. You would need 11 energy, but because it starts at a base damage of, well, 60, minus 2 from that. So 9 energy is going to get you up to 330 damage. Hope that makes sense. The math can be a little bit tricky. That's just the quick way I kind of do it in my head when I'm playing games, and I hope that helps you out in yours as well. And 9 energy, it does sound like a big number, but it's actually not that difficult to get into. Especially with Seaking being an evolution Pokemon, you can be running the deck with reversal energy. I did try out 2 different builds, so I'll be showing both the lists at the end of this, but we'll get into the differences in a little bit. Getting into that energy, it's not that difficult, since if a Seaking gets knocked out, we can use Superior Energy Retrieval, get energy back from the discard. With that being knocked out, we can also be using Letter of Encouragement, search your deck for 3 basic energy, put them right into your hand, so it's getting knocked out and you're just finding more energy because of it. We do also have Energy Recycler, so later in the game we can just be putting the energy directly back into our deck and then trying to draw into it. Since Superior Energy Retrieval, you do have to discard cards, so you're basically paying 3 cards to get 4 energy, Energy Recycler being 1 card to put 5 back into your deck and then just drawing into them. It's a nice trade-off, as well as Super Rod, letting you put a combination of Pokemon and energy back in the deck. We're usually trying to use Super Rod for Pokemon in single prize matchups, since you may be struggling to have attackers every single turn, so that's where that resource is going to come in. But into multi-prize matchups, you can be using it for energy just to add extra power for you guys. Seaking isn't the only attacker in the deck though. We're also going to be running Radiant Greninja. It's mostly in here for draw power, being able to discard an energy, draw you 2 cards. We just covered all the way we can get into and recover energy, so it's not a big trade-off, but it does have the attack Moonlight Shuriken, which for 3 water energy, do 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Manaphy does block it if there's something on the bench though, so be mindful of that. We're going to be running a Manaphy of our own though, to protect against other Greninjas. You're going to notice though Greninja doesn't have Swim Freely, so accelerating that energy to it isn't quite as easy as Seaking. We're actually going to bypass that by just accelerating the energy to Seaking, attach 1 for turn to the Greninja, and then we're going to use Poppy, move 2 of those energy off Seaking and onto the Greninja, and you can catch opponents off guard because of that. Can be helpful into the Lost Box matchup, which is going to be probably the toughest games you'll be playing. Greninja can help tip that in your favor, but be mindful, Sableye can come out, they can knock out a Finneon, they can knock out a Goldeen or a Manaphy. 50 health on the Finneon, it's a really easy target, 70 HP on the Goldeens and Manaphy's. It's a little bit tricky. For draw power, we are going to be running it with Bibarel, the Industrious Incisors, letting you get into 5 cards every single turn. Combos very nicely with Iono, so mid to late game, we can be disrupting our opponent. Puts our hand size quite small, Bibarel is just drawing into cards. Make sure that you always have cards in hand to be using Superior Energy Retrieval to discard, get energy back, re-accelerate them out to Seaking. It's a really powerful combo to be able to go off and just add some solid consistency to the deck. The rest of the deck is pretty straightforward. Boss's Orders for Gust. We already mentioned the Iono as a draw supporter. This is kind of where I'm going to have the bit of a split though. So one of the decks I did try out with Arita, being able to target a water Pokemon and an item. It's great being able to get into a superior energy retrieval or an Ultra Ball to help you get into a Bibarel. Can be really good. But when trying that list out, there was a lot of games where you'd end up just bricking because you're using a supporter for targeting instead of draw and you're not seeing as many things. So I did also try it out with Bruno. Could easily be substituted out with something like Cynthia's Ambition as well. Professor's Research could work, but you're having to discard a lot of cards, which there's going to be downsides to that. So I'd recommend either Bruno, Cynthia, or potentially even a Colress, but Lost Owning stuff, also a little bit risky. The other difference is I did try one list running Pokemon League Headquarters, just being able to kind of slow down Sableye into the Lost Box matchup, since it's really difficult. It didn't come up that often though, like the amount of times you're able to find it and they didn't have a counter stadium, I didn't really find it justified. So kind of pick and choose between these builds. What do you think is going to work for you? The Poppy play for Greninja I really enjoyed. The Reversal Energy did come up quite a bit, and yeah, just having that extra draw power I think is kind of the build I'd go for. So I'd likely lean towards the Bruno over the Arita, but there's not really a wrong answer. It's a deck. Half the fun's just trying to put together the puzzle and find what works for you and for your personal playstyle. What do you think of this updated Swim Freely deck though? Does it have enough power to take on top tier decks, or is this fish gonna flop? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, I'm kind of curious, what decks from Pokemon 151 have you been trying out? There's a lot of new cards that have been introduced into the game, a lot of interesting mechanics, and I'd be really keen to hear how you're going with the new set, because I've been having a lot of fun and I think tried about 10 different decks since it's come out in just this past week, and all of them have felt like they've got pretty good potential. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to boop that subscribe button to keep up with the shenanigans. Now let's jump on ladder and see how we go with this tonight. Okay, cool. Top deck the Goldeen value. Artisan means we have Bibarel. Them going first means we probably getting knocked out. That's okay. We also got Heavy Ball, so if our other Finneon's prized, we're doing okay. That's a cool card. I wish I had run that. Okay, I've heard of this deck. I haven't seen it yet. So what's the deal with this? They use Curlia Draw Engine and then they just have Gallade to get into the guaranteed support every turn. Isn't Pidgeot just better? Like Pidgeot can get you into any card and it has free retreat pivot and it can be an attacker. I guess the trade-off is you're not competing for rare candies? Sombra, your name in real life is difficult, so people end up calling you Sombra in real life. Cool, it's a good thing we had Heavy Ball, because our other Finneon was in the prizes. Neat. Yeah, we get the Doof, and then... Like, I don't really want to Ultra Ball for another Goldeen, but if I don't, we're in a bad way. If I Ultra Ball, it's what? Get rid of potentially that and potentially that. Okay, I think keeping the Recycler. You know what? This early in the game, getting rid of the Recycler is fine. We just added a second one in. We've got a bit of resources to play with. Also, maybe the frog does just end up getting cut. Because, like, we could cut the frog just in favor of another draw supporter. The frog is obviously, like, a searchable draw support that we can repeatedly use, which is good, but it's also discarding energy, which we then need to somehow get back. Finding the right balance is tricky, guys. It's tricky. Oh, also very off topic, but well, I think I've told you guys about the various things that I grow, like the garden. So we've got a lemon tree, and I brought in quite a few lemons to work. And one of the people I work with was like, "Oh, like we could probably make limoncello with this." And I'm like, yeah. And then one of the other people at work has lemons, and he's getting a little bit peeved because he's like, oh, I bring lemons in for people. Now it's like competition. I was like, whoa, okay. Didn't mean offense by that. And then, yeah, the coworker that was like the limoncello, she's like, I can make limoncello with yours and with yours. And we can have a competition. So we did. We had a limoncello competition today, and it was amazing. And mine won. We voted on it. Mine won 8-3. It was so good. So I think I'm gonna have to make more. I'm kind of leaning towards we just grab another doof here. We grab a doof, we'll manually attach there for the retreat. We'll throw down another Goldeen. Their bench is full, so we're not really concerned about a Delphox play coming out. Putting all these energy on the bottom of the deck. Not super keen on the idea, but it is what it is. So I guess we could hold off on attaching the energy just since we do have Switch in the deck, so maybe we get into Switch. We can conserve the energy. We didn't get into Switch. I guess Finneon just dies. We try and save it. Okay, so a hard retreat. We'll go into a Goldeen. Bump this. A bump that means I lose my out to replacing this, but it means we have potential to dig more, get into the Seaking, not find it, found the replacement for ours, I guess, and pass. Yeah, if we can get into the Seaking there, we could have used Swim Freely, flipped the coin, maybe been invincible, buys us a turn. Schnee is an ideally pronounced Schnee, okay. And the AAA can be skipped. Okay, so just Schnee. AAA is anime meme that you can hear. Anime meme that you can hear on YouTube if you're interested, but it's just a postfix word since Schnee is not available. Cool. Yeah, if you want to DM me the link, I'll check it out. I like memes. Limoncello, eh? Yeah, no, it's so good. It's so good. Like I drank it, and I was like, oh, this doesn't even taste like alcohol. And they're like, it's mostly vodka. I'm like, oh. And I tried the other one, and yeah, you could really taste the vodka. It's good. It's good. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get onto that. When life or your coworkers give you lemons, soak them in vodka. Batchet Man, has Bibarel been pronounced on the show? On the show OS anywhere? Like in the anime? Or the show is in the stream? I said Bibarel. I'm sure it would have been pronounced in the anime, right? Would have to have been, right? He was what, Diamond and Pearl? I didn't watch the anime during that era, so I can't really say for certain, but I would think they have said his name. Do that, get another... Oh, where do we get the frog? We might get the frog now. Having that draw power here actually could be helpful. We get that. How many energy are in the bin? Not that many. This isn't getting used yet. Okay, so we're gonna go Oceanic Accompaniment. Get that on the Seaking. Bibarel number 1. Or Letter. I could go Letter just a thin, but I want to go Bibarel number 1 just to make sure that I'm getting into potentially energy that way. Yeah, see, that was big. Yeah, we'll use that then. Greninja? Bibarel. I think we can get away with just drawing into one more energy. Yeah. Nice. I need to hit 2. Right, because we're going to be 30 damage shy. Do this, hope to get into a Superior Energy Retrieval or Letter. Or neither. Okay. I could go for the boss play. Doesn't feel like enough. Dang. Yeah, not getting a Sphere Energy Retrieval there. That hurt. Or getting like an Arita. Arita doing clutch. I could boss kill that. Hitting this for not enough damage feels a bit silly, but I don't know. I guess I don't need to rush as many energy out to get a knockout. It just feels like a bit of a waste of a turn. You just call it Bibarel? You hear a lot of people say Bibarel? Okay, yeah, I say Bibarel. Like, B makes sense, it's beaver, right? I see B-I-B and I say bib. Like, bib is a word. And then it says arrow. Bib arrow. English is funny though. Doesn't need to make sense. Yeah, that hurts. We do just need to get the 3 energy to charge this up to get a knockout, though. And this is where the Poppy play would have been clutch. But we cut the Poppy. I think we'll just go Ultra Ball. Get rid of this, get rid of this. Fail it. Recycler. Get those energy back in the deck. Bibarel Bidoof? No, because it's not beaver. Oh, I see what you're doing there. Yeah, it's a Pokemon. It isn't a beaver, but you know what I meant. We do that. We do this. Prematurely Arita to get something. I don't think we just grab that, right? How many energy are in the deck currently? 5. Yeah, that seems clutch. That also seems fine. Oh, or do we get Super Rod? You know what? Maybe we do get Super Rod now. We're running out of fish. I think we can hold off on that. Just being mindful that there is finite resources. And they have a lot of health. I mean, the sound comes from BEA, not BI. Yeah. Well, that's why I say Bibarel. Bibarel doesn't really make sense. But what I'm saying is people see it as a beaver and they probably assume like, oh, yeah. B. Like beaver. Bibarel. But no, yeah, it should be Bibarel. That's clutch. Not having a swim freely guy though, not so clutch. Okay. Little fish in the active. Another little fish. Like, I don't really want to burn this, but we do need to get cards off of the Bibarels. Alright. Do this, get 5. I'll get up to 5. Only he was evolved. Do we... Like, do we just dig now? Yeah, we dig now. We've got quite a bit of energy. We've got quite a bit of access to energy, and then we still don't find it. Okay, cool. Cool. Super Rod. Put the fish and energy back in. How many of them do we need? I'm kind of thinking we just go double fish, actually. So we can get those back with Superior. Losing this, though, does suck. I don't think we're one-shotting him. We've got time, though. And I'm kind of leaning towards just burning this. That just came out this turn, so it can't evolve. We shuffled the deck, means we can get into Superior, we can get into... yeah. Yeah, we're not getting to the number. I think we're just going for the swim free. Force them to boss around it. Yeah, perfect. Let's be real, now it's just Chunky Beaver. Like, you're not wrong. This is the first reason you can understand just to sound like Beaver. Makes sense? Yeah. It was never about Bibarel. Nah. People are just projecting what they want Bibarel to be onto Bibarel. He never got to decide. Life decided for him. Okay, well, I do that. Get rid of this, get rid of this. Or do I get rid of a boss? I could get rid of a boss. Just to thin the hand. This I can bench. I don't want to get rid of two bosses though, because we might need one of those. Right, like they could just come out with like a Radiant Charizard or something. Although if they do that, then yeah, they just don't evolve that. This being in play though does complicate things for them. Show me a note to 3 more energy? Arita, letter, something? Yeah, that'll do it. And then we Iono them? Yeah. We Iono them down to 2. They've got Gallade to get out of it. Just being mindful that we do also kind of bite ourselves a bit if we do that. Oh, I've got that. Okay, so then I do this, get rid of those, get into those 4 energy and put them in my hand. Sure. I think we should be okay. I haven't used all the switch, have I? Oh, I have. They could just boss stall, I guess. Let's just hope they don't think that way. I do this. I draw those 4. I put boss as the last card. I've got access to everything in my deck. They're on a 2-card hand. Full Hail Mary play right here, guys. Full Hail Mary. Shouldn't have done that. They literally just need to pass. Yeah, they just don't put a 2-prizer out. I take a knockout, they pass, it's game. I shouldn't have done the Iono. What 151 card is my current favorite from the set? Honestly, there's a lot of really interesting ones. Like Pidgey being just adding consistency. He's really good. The new Electrode I really enjoyed. Like the Electrode leftover Snorlax combo is great. Golem was pretty fun. Blastoise, I really wanted to like Blastoise and I really want to like Alakazam, but both those decks just kind of feel like they fall short. Yeah, I think I've entirely just shot myself in the foot here. Shouldn't have Iono'd. Oh, thank you for Ionoing me back. Oh, I misplayed. They literally just need to pass. Game. Okay, that's okay. They misplayed too. Boss on Charmander might have been a play. No, because I need to take the 2 prizes. I needed to get the 2 prizes or we don't win. Like if I had taken out a 1 prizer, then they come up, they take out a 1 prizer. They just need 1 more prize to win. You hate how everyone decided to play Alakazam as stall? That's kind of how you have to play it though. Let's play the Womp. Like I do this, or I think I just Bibarel, right? I just Bibarel and get into the guards. If I need to get them, yeah, I can do it that way, but... Get rid of this, get rid of this. Or Charizard. And then we Bibarel again. And just absolutely delete it. Poor Charizard. Did they scoop? No. 420. It's the funny number. We got him with the funny number.